Hey everybody, here I am again, fresh out of the tub. Why? I mean, do I need to say why? The lighting, the glistening, everyone's going to listen to this. Okay, title of this is Why We Need to Unlearn Spirituality. So here's the deal. From the time that we're little kids, to some degree or another, spirituality is taught to us, whether it's in the form of religion, in terms of a whole bunch of rules and ideas and principles and God and devil and all those things like that, or some of the more modern day versions of spirituality that have laws of attraction and karma and all kinds of other principles that are thrown in, and the workings of destiny and all the things, whatever it is that you were taught. I'm here to explain why it's very important to unlearn those things. So what I've found in my journey, in my natural life journey, okay, is that everything that was in existence before you were born is an expression of the nature of all of those other things, including other people's ideas, other people's experiences. And none of it comes from your point of view, from your particular nature. And so what I'm here to express is that everything related to spirituality is really about expressing your own nature, okay? Is that from the moment that we come into this world, we are conditioned by other people's nature, all right? And it's really our nature is to express our nature upon the world, okay? So this is the basis of why we have to unlearn the things that we were taught, because even when it comes to spirituality and things that sound like they're wisdom and stuff like that, all of those principles are coming from the point of view and through the expression of somebody else's nature. So understand like this, like let's say, for example, exercise. Someone comes to you and says, hey, this is exercise to me. This is what works for me. This is what you should do. If that person doesn't take into account your nature, that person can be sending you down or conditioning you with exercises that don't work for your body, maybe nutrition that doesn't work for your body. Okay, so you can have all the principles that you want, but if it doesn't fit with your nature, it's the exact opposite of what it really is meant to do. All it is an expression of someone else's nature. Now, there are wisdoms, there are understandings in life that are here before we're born that it makes sense to learn, okay? But in terms of spirituality, what I've noticed is that that takes up consciously and subconsciously so much of the sense of people's power in this life, because the power and the sense of power is given to something other than your own nature. And that's completely against the point, because I'm here to suggest self-empowerment, not empowering other people's ideas or empowering and continuing to put energy, consciously or subconsciously, to the ideas that other people impress upon you about God or spirit or any of those kinds of things, all right? So I'm going to give you a perfect example. Sometimes people, New Age spiritual people, will say, if you tell them something that happened, and they'll say, oh, that's a message from the universe. What the F is that? Message from the universe? Every single time that you break down what actually happens, you could just simply say, maybe it's someone told you something, and they say that's a message from the universe. Well, it's a message from a person. It's a message from a human being who's expressing his knowledge or her knowledge and their nature. Okay, so all it is that every time you experience something, you are experiencing nature outside yourself, mixed with your own nature, how your own nature takes it. And obviously I'm saying nature a whole lot, right? But that's because that's the most important thing. That's where all the truth is, in your nature. And you're here, in my opinion, to express your nature and see your nature flourish. The more that you focus on what you think the nature of something else is, like the spiritual nature of the universe, the more that you're taking energy away from focusing on expressing what your nature is, finding what that is, finding out what's in here. All right. And what I think is the biggest energy trap and power trap about spirituality and New Age spirituality is still about seeing that the workings of the universe are all these things outside of you, when to me, the most empowered individuals are always the ones that focus on themselves and expressing their own nature in a greater and greater way. And so, in my opinion, unlearning all the things that you've learned spiritually is a part of the path of pushing aside things that are an expression of other people's nature. Okay? So I notice, for example, when I'm thinking about creating something, I was told when I was younger too, like, oh, if something is meant for you, it will come to you. Like, this is such bullshit thinking. Completely bullshit, disempowering thinking, things like that, okay? Because, well, what is that? Who's bringing it? It's just going to come to you. It's meant for you. What is it? No, you go after things. You just simply express your nature. And as your nature is put upon the world, other people have to respond to it. And if there's matches, okay, things connect. The biggest job is taking away the conditions that were put upon you that either cover or warp your nature or disempower your nature. And so that's really, really what we're doing in internal and spiritual work. Is real internal spiritual work is really about getting to our nature, disposing of the things that have nothing to do with our nature, and being just this clean expression of it, and feeling that growth, feeling our oats, feeling our spiritual power. That's just the creators that we are. So I hope this all makes sense to you guys. You know, like, comment the video. I'll be happy to continue to give more examples of this. Basically, the other thing in terms of law of attraction, or the biggest thing is, how much are you putting your nature out there in the world? And that's not sitting home and meditating. Visualization is very important, but for one reason: to gear your mind toward action, to gear your mind towards what do you need to do to strategize, to express yourself. It's really about clarity, okay? And then the envisioning on yourself, like how you want to look. When you do that, it impresses your mind to then do the things necessary to create that look or to create that image. So this whole journey is really about the self. And every time energy takes you away from yourself, remind yourself that, oh wait, that's someone else's nature. Now, you may like someone else's nature, you want to connect with it, right? Okay. But the biggest thing is, there's a lot of things subconsciously that are there. Like, even, for example, things that we may want to do. And a lot of people have had issues sexually of thinking like, oh, well, is this against God doing this, or against my mom, or against my dad, or against, you know, what my friends are going to think of me if I act a certain way sexually, if I do this? What is your nature telling you? What is your nature urging you to do? Your nature is the final word, not the idea of God, not the idea of any kind of principles that somebody taught you. You can learn everything from your own nature. When you dig deep inside, if you're walking down the street, whether you're a man or a woman, you interact with someone, you're like, I really want to have sex with that person. It doesn't matter what other things are going on in society, you can act on it. That's your nature that's tingling right there. If you want to talk to somebody, that's your nature. Even if maybe you think someone taught you it's inappropriate, that's a stranger, it's this and that, you must use intellect, of course, okay? If someone looks shady, maybe you don't, okay? But listen to your nature in every situation. That's the final word. It's not what's in a Bible. It's not what your parents said, or what is political correctness, or the idea of God, or anything like that. All of that comes like not even secondary. That's like way down on the list, because all that is when people use these empowered image say you should listen to this because it's a trap. It's a trap to pull you away from your own nature. Everything else besides your own nature and what your nature is telling you is so insignificant, compared. It's like the equivalent of if you see an ant going across the floor and that ant goes in a direction that you're not going. Do you follow that ant? Well, that would be ridiculous. Not if you wanted to go a different direction. You may want to squish the ant or just go ew or whatever it is, or just go look how cute it is. But you wouldn't go, well, the ant is going that way, so that's a message from the universe to follow the fucking ant? That's how absurd it is to look at things and call them signs from the universe. The real sign is what you are feeling inside. What makes your nature tingle, right? What makes your nature go, okay, I like this. When you learn to listen to that, that's when you direct yourself where you're empowered, you feel the best. And imagine considering every other message, the difference between listening to your own nature or the direction an ant goes. Its nature is totally different than yours. So why would you follow its nature? You see what I'm saying? So when people explain the nature of God or nature of a Messiah, whatever it is, okay? Lord, listen to Jesus Christ, Come on. All right. Listen to what is inside. What are you made of? What's in here? All of that. Act on that. That's how you create an authentic life. That's how you live in strength and freedom and are the most productive and are the most happy. That is what I have found. That's what I'm sharing with you today. And it's such an important message. So that's the message from my nature to you guys. So the thing is, you could take that in and you go, okay, is that message in harmony with my nature? When I look inside, do I find the same thing? All right. I'm opening up to give you guys a pathway to look at that, to unlearn certain things that you have learned that maybe really aren't the message of your nature. Listen to your nature, walk that path, guys. Yasha Yoti, out.